Hey, everybody. This is Eddie from Tokyo. This is your cryptocurrency update from Japan. Boy, did we have a wake-up call yesterday. So Softbank, which is a cell phone carrier, they had a major disruption. They have some 60 million customers, and millions of people yesterday from 1:30 in the afternoon till 6 p.m. couldn't use their cell phone. We have so much reliance on the cell phones. So the ticketing is done using our cell phones in Japan. So people couldn't get on planes, they couldn't get on trains, they also couldn't get into concerts. Disneyland had a problem. There's a car sharing service that uses a cell phone to lock and unlock the cars. So people were locked out of their cars. More than 12 million people take the train here in Tokyo every day. And when you go meet somebody at the station, you don't say, I'll meet you at the West Gate or I'll meet you at the South Gate. What you do is you get out of that gate and then you pick up the phone and you give a landmark of where you are so that you can find each other, because there are just millions of people that use those stations, and it is impossible to meet people unless you have that phone. The surreal thing is that there are a few public payphones still in the city. They're lime green and they're big. You can never miss them. But there was lines of people trying to use the public phones, and it was really bad timing. Softbank is just about to have a record 23 billion IPO. They dropped 6% during this situation, and they had an emergency meeting today. I don't know how they're going to solve it. Ericsson actually raised their hand and said it was their fault for some software problem. But, what do? You've got the two-factor authentication, right? And then you have a lot of secured sites. And during that time frame, nobody could get into their sites. It's really, really scary to think how vulnerable we are to our cell phones these days. So if you have any solution, I'd love to hear it, because I can only think that carrying two cell phones by two different carriers would be the option. But yeah, it just goes to show that we need to have some sort of backup. All right, there is a couple of days ago, I did a video about the Crypto Mondays. It's an event that happens in San Francisco, and Cory Johnson was on a panel, and there was some articles written about this, but I hadn't actually seen the hour-long presentation. It's an hour and 16 minutes. The article that was written was just so short that it really didn't go over the finer points, and so I found that you can view it in its entirety. I'll put the link down in the comment section below. But I found some of the questions that Cory was asked, who of course is the chief market strategist at Ripple, was quite interesting. He claims that they are the biggest company in the San Francisco Bay Area in blockchain. And that's aside from the people who are doing trading. But when asked what stood out for him in 2018, and he said that it was the divergence that has occurred between price and adoption. And that adoption now is really turning into the awareness of the usefulness. He was also very clear that he completely disagrees with the way CoinMarketCap calculates the market caps. When asked about the other verticals, he talked a little bit about the micropayments, trade finance, and Spring. And Spring is really instrumental in bringing that technology to people so that they can use the ecosystem. Takes out the middleman and it makes things work faster. And then when he was asked about decentralization, it was funny. I found that he has a great sense of humor. So he said, well, decentralization isn't always good. Like, for example, with family. And then he paused and said, well, my ex-wife might disagree with that. So he got a big laugh from the people in the crowd. And even in this crypto winter, they are providing liquidity to help all the exchanges. And then he was asked about Coinbase. So, Coinbase, friend or foe? And he took a moment and then said, Brian's got great hair. So those that you know, Brian doesn't have any hair. He's the founder, of course, of Coinbase. All right, so moving along. So this is a crazy headline. Japan sees explosion in reported crypto money laundering, over 6,000 in 6 months. And this came out today. And then another one on the same subject. Only 2% of Japan's 340,000 money laundering cases involve cryptocurrency. Here's my point. With this pricing that has occurred in the last 24 hours, you're going to see some crazy headlines. Just beware that people have the ability to spin a story, positive or negative, with a headline. So I know that you're going to see just a lot of crazy headlines with the price action that we've had, and just be aware of that. And here is something I also want you to remember: how Warren Buffett made $10 billion during the last financial crisis. So in that crisis, that was in 2008, it was a total global meltdown of the market. And one of the people that work for Berkshire Hathaway said, taking advantage of the general atmosphere of panic, the Berkshire Hathaway Fund made swift moves that made $10 billion during the financial crisis. So again, you can spin these kind of price action days in many directions. And also, just to stay on Warren Buffett, I know he's not a big fan of crypto. It's okay, but he's an older gentleman, and he doesn't really always stay in touch or in tune with changing technology. So in 2017, he was asked by CNBC why he didn't buy Amazon. And he said, I didn't understand the power of the model as I went along. So it's one I missed big time. And then, same with Google. It's something that he regrets. That same year, he told his shareholders that he'd made a big mistake. So you're going to see a lot of people who say that, the cryptocurrency is a big mistake, but I think quite the opposite. All right. I had someone in my comment section for the last, I don't know, many times actually, leave me this comment that just had 2 words: Chinese bamboo. And I have to be honest with you, I had no idea what it meant. So I saw it for the first time. I didn't know, should I comment? Should I hit a like? Should I do a heart mark? I mean, I just didn't get it. And then this comment kept coming. And I thought, okay, Eddie, you need to ask, because if you don't ask, you'll never know. And what he shared with me is this Chinese bamboo story about a man, and it's very touching. And I'm going to put the link to the story in the comment section below. And if you haven't heard it before, I think it's definitely worth the 9 minutes to listen to. There was a farmer, and he wanted to take care of his family. So he planted some bamboo seeds, and he brought water to those seeds every day, and he watered them. And you know what? I just thought, now, I don't want to tell you the story on this video, because I think it's better if you listen to the story without knowing exactly the details or how it ends. But what I found is that if you're in the crypto space, this Chinese bamboo story is something that you need to know about. And I want to thank him so much for sharing that with me. So I'm not going to tell you how it ends. I'm getting into the fluff, everybody. The fluff today is this kanji here. And the kanji character that's used in Japan originally came comes from China. And this kanji is a word you know. It's a word everybody knows. It's a global word that's been adopted like sushi. Do you have a guess? The word is ninja. And I think I want to explain to you a little bit about the beautiful, amazing part of kanji, because kanji is a combination of course, characters, but each character has a deep meaning. So when you combine these characters together, it's very conceptual. And in this top kanji here, nin, N-I-N, nin, you have this radical. The radical is like when you use a portion of it. This is blade or sword. And this bottom one is kokoro, your heart. So you can imagine it's kind of feels like a blade or a sword in your heart. And nin means endurance and patience. And the bottom kanji here, this is actually for elder, and this is a day. This one is sha, which means person. So a ninja is a person who has great endurance or great patience. I'm not sure if you knew the origin behind or the meaning behind that kanji. And I can't be a ninja. I can be, though, however, a kunoichi. That is what they called the women who worked with the ninja. And there is a famous, in history, woman ninja who worked for this daimyo. Daimyo is a great warlord. And this is the warlord Takeda Shingen. He was a clan, the Takeda's clan in Kofu. And he actually was entrusted to look after a woman by the name of Mochizuki Chiyome. Her husband died in battle. And after he then became kind of her guardian, he asked her if she would become a kunoichi, which is a woman ninja. And this woman was actually born of nobility. And she created an all-female group to be under the service of the Takeda clan. And she actually had some 200 to 300 women, it is so reported. Now, we don't have a picture of her because this occurred in 1561 around. And yeah, we don't have anything more than just some written documents. But she taught them the skills of how to be a miko. A miko is the young woman who works at a shrine. And having that profession, they had the ability to travel without suspicion. So these women would work throughout the country, traveling freely, but actually doing reconnaissance with their spying. And yeah, the female ninja really didn't do any warring or fighting. I mean, of course, they had some weaponry. One of the famous weaponries they had were what's called nekote, which is a cat nail, and they would use that to defend themselves or to take action. I'm not sure. But for the most part, they were information gatherers. So there you have a little bit of your ninja and kunoichi history from Japan. This statue, by the way, I've seen twice, and it is massive. It sits on a base, and I don't know how tall, but it's very impressive. Very impressive. So, Shingen. Yeah. All right. Take care, everybody. Sayonara for now. Bye-bye.